Hi, my name is Dominic Beltran. I'm here with Alysia Reiner from the actress who played Sideways, and this is from actors from Autism Interviews. Welcome. So nice to join us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. What inspired you to be an actress so far?
So far, well, I think today what inspires me to be an actor is to tell stories that make the world a better place, is to really find stories that illuminate human nature and make people think and dream and feel good about themselves. I think when I first decided I wanted to be an actress, I was trying to decide between being a psychoneurobiologist and an actress. And I wrote my college essays about how psychoneurobiology and acting were really the same thing. And to me, they're both studies of human behavior and why we do what we do from two very different standpoints. And in the end, I decided I wanted to be more of an artist than a scientist, because I was more interested in the way that we're all the same and that we're all so super unique at the same time. And in science, I feel like sometimes in science we're really trying to classify things and make everything the same, as opposed to look at our uniquenesses.
That's a good perspective on that one, because I think that it would make sense if we're not smarter than a scientist to be an actor. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Completely.
All right. And another question is that you're an athlete in a film that you're portrayed as a rowing in an Olympics game, which is totally relative for Olympic Games in London 2012.
Yeah.
What inspired you to be in that character in that film?
Well, I just did a movie called Backwards, which comes out in September of 2012, so everyone go see it. Go to backwardsthemovie.com. And it's a wonderful movie about a female Olympic rower. And it stars James Van Der Beek, and the creator of the film is a woman named Sarah Megan Thomas, who also stars in it, and me, and David Allen Bache is also in it. And it's a great story about following your dreams and what happens when you really go for your dream, and what does it mean to find happiness and go for your dream. And I won't tell you anymore because I don't want to ruin the ending.
Right. I know your perspective, and doesn't mine either, because I think it ruins the plot of the film.
It does. I hate that. I hate when a review talks about the end of a movie, or like,
which
I
is
don't want to know any of that.
totally ruined me at all. I agree.
Good, but go see the film. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, cool. You were in a popular TV show, Law and Order, which is back to 1990, I suppose, way long time ago.
Yeah, before I was born.
Yeah. What was it like working on that show?
Well, I've been really lucky. I'm a New York City actor, so that means I've gotten to work on the show 5 different times, and I've worked on all 3 of the incarnations of it. I've worked on Law and Order SVU, and Law and Order CI.
Which stands for Criminal Intent.
Correct. And I've had so much fun working on all of them. The first one I played like a nurse, and I had, maybe 5 lines, and it was a really big deal for me because it was one of my first TV jobs, and it was really exciting. And then I played a lawyer a couple times, and then I played a drug addict one time, but like a high-class drug addict who worked in the fashion industry. And then what did I play? And then I played, there was a vampire episode, so I played someone who had possibly been bitten by a vampire. Can you believe a vampire Law and Order episode, right? I mean,
that
vampires
was really
must be
weird.
Really in, right?
That was really weird.
I know. And then what was and then I played just a very like a housewife of New York City kind of gal, which is ironic because I happen to know 2 of the housewives of New York City. I went to school from kindergarten with one of them.
Wow. Well, that's lucky.
I know.
All right. What was it work like working with Drew Carey on a Drew Carey show?
Oh, that was one of my first sitcoms. You're talking about like all my first jobs. So Drew Carey was I think my first guest star on a sitcom, and he was the loveliest human, like such a nice gentleman. And one of my favorite things about working on that show is he made everybody feel really important and comfortable.
That's correct.
And my first day on the job, I went into my dressing room, and he had sent me flowers. And there was a beautiful flower arrangement, and it said, "Thank you so much for joining me on my show. You know, love, Drew." And I was like, that is the coolest guy. I thought he was the coolest guy, and I still do. And ironically, just this past week, I did an episode of another sitcom, and I played the husband of Dietrich Bader, who was also on Drew Carey with me.
Nice.
Yeah, he was one of the regular
I
guys.
remember watching Whose Line Is It Anyway, and it was really, really funny guy.
So funny.
He is a charismatic guy.
Totally. He's amazing. I mean, improv, I don't know if you've ever done improv.
Yeah, I've done improv
Have you?
lots of times, so I got familiar with it.
I toured with an improv group for a year, and it's so much fun, but it is the scariest thing you can do in entertainment, I think.
I think
Do you
so.
agree? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
In the movie Sideways, it was a huge success. Do you think audience loved that movie?
I think they did, and I loved making it. We had so much fun making it. We had no idea it would be the huge success that it was. No clue. We just had so much fun. I think Alexander Payne is a genius and creates such a wonderful, warm, and nurturing environment, and such a creative environment where everybody has such freedom and comfort, And one thing I will say that I love in a director is when they create an environment where everyone can do their best.
Right.
And that's the magic, I think, of directing, is creating an environment where everyone can do their best. I just finished a movie called Primrose Lane, and the director is a woman named Kathleen Davidson, and she similarly created this magical environment where I watched all these people get better as we were working, and everyone was just doing their best. And I think it really comes from the director creating this very loving, nurturing environment of I believe in you, and I believe you can do your best, and sort of challenging you at the same time. Come on, bring it.
Yeah, I get it. Maybe I can get it rented at Blockbuster or Netflix. I can get it.
Yeah, totally. Well, we just finished Primrose Lane, so you won't be. It'd probably be at least 6 months, probably more like 9 or 12. But look for it, Primrose Lane.
Got it.
It's kind of like Paranormal Activity meets Downton Abbey.
I see. In 2008, you created a movie, Speed Grieving. Why is that film important to you?
Oh, thank you for asking about that. My father passed away very suddenly in 2002, and I was very young at the time. He was very young. He was 55, and he had cancer, and he was gone in 10 days. Ouch. And big ouch. And I was shocked by grief and what it did to me, and people's inability to talk about grief and loss and death. People are really scared to talk about death.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to talk about, right?
Right.
And I remembered that one of my friends' fathers died before my dad died, and I remember being afraid to talk to her and not knowing what to say and feeling like, as strange as this sounds, like it would be catching. That if I got too close to her, my dad would die too. As crazy as I know that sounds, I remember feeling that. I was really young at the time, and I remember feeling that. So when my dad died, and I had all these feelings of grief and this experience of people's inability to talk about it, I wanted to do something about it, and I wanted to create a way for people to talk about it more. And the only thing I really know how to do is make art, be an activist.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so that's really what made me make the movie. And now it's in, there's an organization called the Cancer Support Community.
Oh,
and they
that's excellent.
Yeah, they have clubhouses all over the country and all over the world, and it's in every clubhouse. And on August 21st, you're welcome to come. They're doing a screening of the movie, and I'm doing a talk back afterwards. And all over, people screen this movie, and you can buy the movie now, and it has a grief discussion guide that comes with it to help people deal with their grief and process their grief.
That's great for what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're an environmentalist, and your home was featured in the World Greenest Homes.
Yep.
Can you explain more about it?
Well, I love my house so much. I never considered myself an environmentalist. I just thought I was normal. Like, I thought everybody cared about the earth and wanted to waste as little as possible and make the world a better place. Like, what does that mean? So when I was building my house, I was really shocked. What happened was David and I bought an abandoned crack house in Harlem.
Oh.
Yep. We had crack needles to show it, and no one was living there, and it was abandoned, and there were no windows, no doors, no electric, no plumbing. It was raining on us in the house. There was not even a real roof. Like, it was a mess.
It is a mess.
It was a mess. So we had to totally redo it. And when I was totally redoing it, I was like, well, of course I want to make it as environmentally friendly as possible, right? Like,
That's correct.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Why would you have, like, 100% caregiver when you can give a house?
Exactly. So I didn't understand why anyone would do any other way. But at the time, I found out that a lot of people don't really care about the environment and don't care about waste and do it really differently. So it was kind of challenging finding all the materials, and I had to do a lot of research on my own because not a lot of people knew how to be environmentally friendly at that time. Now it's getting a little bit more mainstream.
Cool.
So when we did it, we got a lot of press for it. We were in Dwell magazine and World's Greenest Homes and Renovation Nation Green Edition and Gotham magazine and all these magazines. And
Dwell is my mom's favorite.
Oh, I love Dwell. Yeah. If you go online, there's a whole web series about our renovation.
Nice.
Yeah, on dwell.com.
Okay, cool. You're an advisory board for Actors for Autism. Why is the cause important to you?
I think the personal importance is that my niece, Rosie, is a person with autism, and I love her so much, and I have experienced firsthand what her experience of life is, and I want so much for people to understand more about autism and for people to not, it's almost back full circle to what I was saying when I was deciding whether to be an actress or a scientist.
Right.
I decided to be an actress because in acting we're looking at like sort of that magic uniqueness of every human being, and in science I felt like we sort of classify and group a little bit. It's the same reason that I'm interested in Actors for Autism. I don't want people to say like, oh, people who are autistic are like this. We're all absolutely unique, amazing human beings.
I agree.
Right? So I'm here because I want everyone to remember that, and that we're all amazing in our own ways, and that no one should ever judge or classify or bully or do anything to anyone, and everybody should have equal opportunity.
I agree. Most of the time I bullied myself, but basically I just like learn my lesson and get through with my life. That's all.
And I will tell you something. I bully myself too. Everybody bullies themselves. Everybody has a mean voice in their head, and we all are learning how to combat that. Like, that's part of life for everybody.
Right. Well, thank you guys for joining us,
My pleasure.
Alysia.
My pleasure.
Thank you.